Hey guys, Gameboy 3800 here once again, and I'm back with the MSI GE62 Apache. This is the new laptop I just got earlier today, actually. And while I was installing Windows 7 on it, because Windows 7 all the way, I found that it idles too warm. It idles around 50 to 60 degrees. Even with the fan, that's with the fan being on. Like the fan's always on. I thought that was too high, especially for a Broadwell processor. So, let me get out my trusty piece of cardboard here. And I'm going to show you, along with showing myself, how to fix the heat issue. Here I have some nice Arctic Silver 5 thermal paste. This makes a 2009 Dell laptop with a first generation Core i7 idle at like 30. It's actually some pretty amazing stuff. Arctic Silver 5 and Icy Diamond 7 are both really good thermal compounds, and I highly recommend them. It just occurred to me that I forgot to bring a screwdriver, so I will be right back. And then we will take apart the goodies. Alright, I got some. Now we should be good to go. Now there's a lot of screws on the bottom that hold this bottom panel on. We gotta remove all of them. So, speed up time. Okay, in theory, that's all we had to do. Now also in theory, I should be able to just lift this panel up. That is, of course, just a theory. No. Did I miss a screw? I think I did someplace. I don't want to take the screws out because I thought I could just lift this up, but apparently that is not the case. So I need to put the screws someplace. Usually I would have a panel off and have the screws just hide out there. But here, I don't know where to put them. Well, I know where I could put them, but it's not a safe place, so... Okay, I got something. It'll just be used to hold long and then short screws. So I have a magnetic screwdriver here. I don't know what that one's going to be, so it'll be in that one. Seems like all the ones at the front here are going to be the same length. Not sure if the DVD driver is going to need to be removed, but with that screw out now, I can get it. And I think with the DVD drive out now, we're going to have a much easier time with this. Or maybe I lied. Yep, they're all unscrewed as far as I know. And they are all the same size, it looks like. Unless there's a hidden screw underneath one of these panels, I think I got all of them, or panels, labels. Yep, that looks like all of them. The only thing I could think that's holding them down is that there's some extra screws hiding under the DVD drive right here. I don't know if you can see them, but they're along this edge here. If you can see them, great. If not, sorry I offended your religion. Oh, that takes a tiny screwdriver. Thankfully, I do have a small screwdriver right here. There we go. Watch these screws not be required to be removed to get the bottom tray off. I'm calling it now. They're not going to be needed. There's no extra hidden screws on the back. And it does not just slide forward. Ah, there is a warranty sticker. And it's right here. And behind it feels like a screw. Yep, there is. There we go. Yay, worded warranty. That didn't help anything. I still can't get it undone here. Alright, I got the bottom, but I need to show you something so that you do not make the same mistake that I did. I watched a clip of a teardown video, and he removed the hinge cover here, and that is not required to remove the bottom, so I almost broke it. You might be able to see a bend or a crease or something right there. Yeah, I think you can see it. Now, I put it back as best I could, and I hope it'll stick if I open the screen, or not stick and crack open. Seems like a good enough test to me. Anyways, you did have to pry the entire bottom off with some special clip, and then it pops right off. Now with the bottom removed, we get to a more familiar looking situation. We have, oh wow. Okay, so over here, we have our 2 speakers and subwoofer. I did not notice I had a subwoofer. That's cool. You have a 4 and 8 gig stick. This has 12 gigabytes. Here's the hard drive, and then you can have 3 MSI drives in here. That's pretty cool. Now, what we're going to need to be removing here are the heat pipes and all the heat sinks so that we can get to the CPU and GPU dies underneath and be able to replace the thermal compound and make it perform both cooler and a lot better. So, yep. I'll be moving my little organizers here since all the screws are the same except for the ones beneath the DVD drive. And I'm going to use this other sorter I have as the one that picks up these screws here. That's too big. That's fine. I'll use this smaller one here that I've used all before. Unscrew in a cross pattern. Keep the screws in a safe place. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to remove the fans as well. But if I do have to, they look easy enough to be able to unscrew. You just need a really small screwdriver, which, as seen here, I do have. Alright, so here we go. The CPU is, I believe, soldered down, so you cannot upgrade this in the future if you wanted to. I mean, I suppose you really could do it, but you'd need to get a whole new machine in the process. And just to be sure, I'm going to put these screws someplace else. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is not only does it run hot, but under load, it could run extremely hot. So hot that the fans would go up to absolute maximum temperature. That is not pleasing to the ear, or to anyone who's on a call, like on Skype or something. So, yep, that is all the screws we need to take out. Unless we need to take out the fans as well. Sorry about that, I ran out of space on the hard drive. I deleted some stuff, and now we're back in action. I removed one more screw from the fan over here. And it is kind of cool how this is all just one huge heatsink assembly. And I guess it's also cool of how easy it is to get to literally everything on the motherboard except for the keyboard. Alright, in theory, we're good to lift off. Now we need to be careful because the dies on this are very sensitive and we don't want to pull too hard in any one direction. First thing I'm going to do is disconnect the fans because I will need to clean the bottom of this. Tricky part being, where are the fan headers? Here it is. Be very easy on the fan headers because they could easily break a wire and you'd be in a very bad situation, especially if you were looking for the warranty. Okay, looks like one of the Wi-Fi cables came undone somehow. A good thing I looked under here. That's for the screen. This one's for the fan. There we go. Now I am going to undo this tape here and reconnect that Wi-Fi cable. I'm not sure if I did that to the Wi-Fi cable or if it did that to itself. Either way, I'm going to fix it so that I don't have to worry about it later. I don't know why it was taped down to begin with. It seems perfectly capable of staying alive on its own. These tiny connections were always really hard to get, but I seem to have got it without any issue, so that's good. Don't put your hand on the speaker, you could fold them in and ruin their sound quality forever. Alright, that's one lifted. This one I feel is going to be much harder. There we go. Let's ensure that it's all unhooked and free from the motherboard. There is a cable here for the screen that is in some channels on the fan. Some little plastic channels. I'm going to get that undone. Now we are free from it and we've unhooked the Wi-Fi cable again. Okay. So now you need to be careful here because you see here it's got some extra pads. That is for the GPU memory. Those are the black squares here. You should not remove them. So now, what we're going to do is take the system away for a minute. And we're going to focus on cleaning these pads here. Well, not the pads themselves, but this and this, because that has the cheap thermal compound all over it. So I'm going to move this someplace safe. And now we get to the good part. This is why you're here. What you need is some toilet paper. And some rubbing alcohol. It doesn't really matter what percent rubbing alcohol you have. I have 91%, but you can use 76, 80, or 99%, all just fine. Just as long as it's a clean surface for the new thermal paste, it will be good enough. Now what you want to do is just simply tilt it so it's just on, and then gently rub onto the old surface until you see that all the old thermal compound has come off. So as I said, once more over both of the dies, and then we're going to do the same to the laptop. Now the performance, or not really performance, but the heat or cold benefits will not be immediately apparent. It might even run hotter at first, but as soon as the heat paste spreads out and it becomes set, then you will start to see some performance increase, or at the very least some temperature decrease. Because I did this exact same fix on an old Dell XPS or Latitude laptop, and at first it didn't have any increase in performance at all. But then, after a few days after it set, it ran at 30 degrees. So now I'm going to move this aside and bring the laptop back up. Alright, here we go. Now there's actually two GPUs on the laptop. One is Intel, and it's integrated into the i7 chip right here, and the other is the NVIDIA chip, which is the one right here. And it looks like there's some extra little bits on the top of the NVIDIA one, so we need to be extra careful with that. And we can push down a little bit harder onto the CPU because it's smoother. And it's the thing that was running hot, so I want to get as much of the old paste off as possible. so that the alcohol that's left over can evaporate. It's not going to take too long to evaporate. And then we should be good to put the new thermal paste on, put the heat sinks back on, fix the Wi-Fi cable, and be good to go. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, it has been a few minutes. Now it's time to put on the new thermal paste. Because these are laptop parts and they have no heat spreader, all they need is a tiny dot in the center. And that's all we're going to need to keep these things cool. So we're going to need it on the GPU, on the CPU, and on the integrated GPU. So now that will spread and cover the entire dies and be good. Alright, it's time to put the heatsink back on. Alright, you could replace these pads if you really wanted to, but for the sake of this video, I am going to leave it as stock. So now the screen thing is going to have to go back over the channel. And that's on there nice and good. I'm going to put the screws in one at a time in a cross pattern to ensure we get nice even spread. Do not tighten the screws down so tight that it locks up. Just got to do it until they no longer turn. If you do it too hard, because this has no heat spreader, you could damage the die itself, and that will kill the CPU. Extra thermal paste there. I don't know where that came from. Alright, that's good for that. Now we're going to do the GPU side of things. Once again, same exact story. Screw down in a cross pattern to get the most even spread possible. Not too tight. And then once we are sure it is down tight and secure, but not too tight, we will go ahead and screw down the fans, put the bottom panel back on, screw that back on, and then power up and see, one, if it still works, and two, if we see any immediate improvements. I am going to guess that no, we will not see immediate improvements. It might take 3 or 4 days of real use for it to set properly and have all the heat be taken away efficiently and quickly. You can give all the screws one extra half turn if they have any to give, although these are already nice and tight, so I'm not going to go that far. I'm just making sure that they're in there. And now we just have the fans to screw down, and we'll be good to go. I'm going to move the alcohol away so that I can spin it around. And one thing I will check off camera is the battery. I want to see how many watt hours it is, because the battery meter app I have installed says it's at 41 watt hours maximum capacity. I want to know if that's still brand new condition, or if that's very, very used. Alright, so that's the left fan down. Now for the right fan. Oh my god. There we go. Time to plug the fans back into their proper fan headers. This one went under the heat sink pipes a bit. And now we can put it in. There we go. That's almost exactly like it was before. I am proud of that. Oh. I need to unscrew the left fan because the wire got caught under it. Alright, I have checked, and the capacity is 41.04 watt hours. And 41 watt hours is what the meter reads, so it is basically a brand new battery, which is what I wanted. I'm going to make sure that's nice and tight before I put the cover back on. It seems like it was. Now, presumably, it just slips back on and clips into place. Alright, time to start screwing everything in. Starting with the DVD drive, since it's got its unique screws, and ending with all the rest. So, let's begin. Okay, let's make sure the screen hinge is still not creaking and dying. That seems good. Let's power up. Yay, it didn't power up. Let me get a power plug. Okay, here's a power plug. Let's make sure.
Take your bets, take your bets. Did it survive or did it become died? Type yes in the comments to say yes or no. Yeah, it survives.
It's still alive. There we go. Keyboard and display are both on. We're going to go into Windows 7 to make sure it's going to still be recognizing the battery. Maybe it just doesn't want to power up after the battery's been unplugged. If it doesn't show up, then I'll just reattach the battery correctly the next time, or off camera. But you can see it's booting up. We didn't kill it. Not yet anyways. So that's good. That's very good. It's going to log me in. Nope. But I have a passcode for it. Speakers still work, that's good. Oh, it's going to do Windows updates. I'll get back to you when this is done. Okay, it's logging in. Now let's see if battery will be there. Fully charged 100%. It is recognizing the battery. Let's just go ahead and make sure that is actually the case. I'm going to unplug it now. Yay, it's unplugged, holding a charge. We didn't kill it at all. Now, and 41.234, it's actually got 0.2 or 0.196 watt hours more than it actually says. That's cool. I'm going to keep that plugged in. And we need core temp to open. And PC meter. Come on, core temp, you can do it. There we go. We are still idling at about 50 degrees. Here we go, I can show you. But that will almost certainly go down with over the days. And yeah, GPU's already showing low temperatures. It's at 40. One of the cool things I like about this, sorry you couldn't see that. One of the cool things I like about this laptop is that it's got a turbo fan button right here. You press it, and both of the fans amp up. Are they both working? Yep, and the Wi-Fi is working. Hooray! Now, which network is it connected to? That's connected to the not 5 GHz, but it is recognizing the 5 GHz. Will it connect to it? Yes, it does. The left CPU fan keeps going on for a bit. But there you go. That is how you put on better thermal compound for an MSI GE62 series laptop. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please remember to like, favorite, comment, and of course subscribe. Well, it had no warranty to begin with. It was used. It wasn't new. And then I broke the warranty sticker. I wasted time doing this. So, leave a like and stuff. Thanks, Game Boy out. I will see you in the next video.